Hey everyone, it's Marla. Welcome to Twinstrology. We are going to do a reading for the Twin Flame Collective. We just had the Gemini solar eclipse, so let's see what's going on for twins. So I'm going to start the reading with a Starseed Oracle card. And the card that was chosen for us is the Courageous Peony, multifaceted, unique nature. Let yourself be seen. So we're going to read this one. Flowers don't open and close according to who walks by. They embrace all of what they are and show it to the world around them. The peony doesn't try to compete with the cherry blossom, and the cherry blossom doesn't try to compete with the tulip. They own what they are and trust the timing of their true nature. You're being called to do the same. It's time to open yourself up to being seen. Time to share your incredible, multifaceted, true nature with the world around you. To uncover and reveal your soul's greatest gifts without wavering. To own your uniqueness without apology. There's a flower on this planet that holds the same qualities that your soul is readying itself to express. Let it inform you. You may have been taught that it's safer to keep your light hidden and your voice small, to hide behind the bushes instead of growing tall. The Courageous Peony is here to remind you that it's safe to embody all of who you truly are. It's safe to share your voice and let yourself be seen. At first it may feel uncomfortable and you may be afraid of what others will think, but with each passing day it becomes easier. Little by little you realize that it draws in those who are meant for you and experiences you've been longing to arrive at your feet. So really good card, I think, to start off the reading, because I've been talking a lot about this year being the year of higher self embodiment, and that's really what this card is about. Because when we embody more of our higher self, we are no longer willing to hide ourselves. And it may take some time because we may be afraid to take certain steps, but we just have to be in our truth, because your higher self will not shrink itself. It will not hide. So it takes that strength and courage to really let that higher energy come forward. And there has to be a lot of ego clearing to allow that to really come through. But everybody's at a different place on their journey right now, but everybody is leveling up in some way to that embodiment. But just like merging with your twin flame takes a while, and you go through many merges energetically, you also go through many merges with your higher self as well. So let's talk about what the overall energy of twin flame unions is right now. This card comes up so much. I'm hoping that you can see it. I'm just going to shift the light a little bit and see if that helps with the focus. I'll contact you when I'm able to. Right now, my life is too complicated to bring you into it, but know that I do want to talk to you. So remember, this energy of what the overall union is energy that's coming from our higher self. It's coming from a higher place. It's not really of the 3D nature, but we are, as twins, trying to transition this energy from the 5D to the 3D. So I'm getting a lot of different meanings to this card. The first is kind of the obvious meaning, that communication is being affected between twins, and that there's a lot going on in your lives, and you're not ready to really reach out and communicate with each other yet. I know a lot of divine feminines are going to be resistant to the idea that they're not ready to communicate, but it might be coming through in different ways, okay? So for the divine feminine, there often is a fear of being truly vulnerable and expressing everything to the divine masculine, because of course everyone has a fear of rejection, and this person that you care about the most, of course you never want to feel that rejection, so you avoid it. But for some of you, this is actually something that's coming up in other areas of your life, not just with your twin, but it's about really expressing who you are and like being unapologetic about it. So what I'm getting about this card, what they're showing me is it's like putting the brakes on. And there's a lot of different ways that both masculine and feminine are putting the brakes on things. And it's kind of like when you say, oh, I can't do that right now. I'm just too busy. I'll put that off. For some, it's quite literally what the contact is contact with your higher self. And you're resisting that contact with higher self right now out of fear. Maybe you're afraid to take the next step in your journey. And like I said, when your higher self becomes more embodied in you, you can no longer be a shrinking violet. You've got to do what you're being guided to do. So yeah, think about it like I'm putting the brakes on. And that complication, for some of you, it might be like life is too complicated, especially like when it comes to actual divine masculine, just because their journey is a bit more intense, I feel right now. And there may literally be some kind of complication, but in other ways, it's just like ego stalling and putting the brakes on. In some cases, it may be like higher self is kind of blocking communication between twins right now. And I'm feeling like that's happening so that twins go through triggers. A lot of twins are being triggered right now. They're going through some separation issues. And for some of you, it's like your twin is kind of really putting the brakes on your relationship. Like some twins that have been in communication around this eclipse may find that their twin just like breaks communication or is not responding, is ghosting them at the minute. So yeah, there's a lot of different meanings to this card, and you've got to take what resonates, and maybe more than one circumstance is going to resonate with you. What's positive in twin flame unions? I need to move slowly with this, but trust that I am moving even when it seems like I'm not. So what's positive is things are moving forward. It may not seem that way from our perspective, but remember, Mercury's in retrograde. So things are not going to be moving as fast as we want them to because it's our time to rest. And there's a very strong message coming in right now from my guides that we all need to rest and not focus so much on moving ahead in different areas of our life, but it's a time to take it easy. But yeah, you may feel like nothing's happening, but higher self is saying slowly but surely things are changing. What challenges the Twin Flame Collective right now? I know the universe works in mysterious ways, but sometimes I judge the situation instead of surrendering to it. So yeah, the challenge is stepping out of ego judgment about whatever is going on with your union. And, here we have the feminine who's looking, rejected, experiencing abandonment. And here's the divine masculine, holding his head in his hands, confused, not sure what to do, feeling torn up inside, afraid to move forward. So these are the ego fears being triggered in both masculine and feminine right now. You know, this is a union card, and we have to balance out these judgments in order to come into union. Now, when we look at that communication card as being, you know, communication with our higher self and being directed by our higher self, then we have to stop judging situations in our life. We start seeing everything as just a lesson. We don't need to really attach to a lot of ego drama around stuff, but just allow things to unfold. That takes a lot of trust to be able to do that. So this is how our energy has to shift and what we need to clear so that, you know, these new levels of communication can open up. So what is triggering the divine feminine right now? Separation. So yeah, that feeling of abandonment. And if we look at this energy too, right? If your divine masculine, if they've recently broken off communication, even if they've been in no communication for a long time, then you're going to feel that sense of abandonment. What is triggering the divine masculine? Sacred sexuality. This is kind of interesting, you know, these energies, because they're opposite energies, right? One is separation, one is like the opposite of separation, it's merging. Keep that in mind, you know, if you're going through separation. I feel like with this card, what's really triggering the masculine is vulnerability, and this kind of intimacy takes a lot of vulnerability. We can no longer hide. This is when you embody higher self and you allow yourself to be true and authentic. That's when you get this kind of sexual expression. I feel like the masculine is being triggered by separation too. I mean, really, I'm showing these cards together because there's always mirroring here. So feelings of separation and longing to be together. Both. Even though I pulled this for divine feminine and this for divine masculine, remember we're always both. So we're having this fear come up of, you know, I really long for this, but I'm feeling this. You know, my life is complicated. I don't know how to change these things. I don't know how to get from one thing to the other. As I said at the beginning, even the divine feminine has fears about being open, being vulnerable, both with twin and within greater mission. I am feeling like for the divine masculine, when it comes to sex, it's not fulfilling any longer for them without that intimate connection. And, you know, a lot of people that embody the divine masculine, they're pretty good at having sex without attachment. But yeah, I'm feeling like that's no longer the case, and that's triggering for the divine masculine. So what kind of karma is coming up for the divine feminine? We've got spouse, mother, and trust and faith. So karma's playing a big role now in the energy. We've got Jupiter opposing karma, and Jupiter is squaring the nodes and getting ready to go retrograde. Mercury's retrograde, so yeah. And we have Saturn in a yod with Venus and union. So karma is a big release right now. I'm looking at these two cards and I'm finding it interesting. So what I'm getting for the divine feminine is there's some issues coming up about past relationships. It could be with a current spouse, could be with an ex-spouse, could be with someone that you had a a deep relationship with and not been married to. And how does that relate to the relationship with your mother? Did you find a person that treats you just like your mother? Do you act like your mother? Do you try to mother your spouse? Like, how is that coming through? That is likely to be something that shows up in your life. This could also be your person's spouse could be coming up as some kind of trigger, or your karmic partner's marriage. Even if, you are no longer with your soulmate, you may still have karma to deal with around that. And obviously with separation, okay, our relationships and our mother is going to have a lot to do with how we process separation and how we feel when it comes to rejection and abandonment. And then this card, trust and faith. Very important for the divine feminine to have trust and faith right now. And in fact, all the time, right? Because part of embodying the divine feminine energy is being connected to higher consciousness, seeing through the veil and knowing that there's never anything that we need fear, because we're always being guided and that everything always works out for the best, even if we don't see it that way in our ego self. What is the divine feminine not seeing? Anxiety, inertia born of doubt. Yeah. And I mentioned kind of with this card, right? Putting the brakes on something, so there may be fears about totally being your true self, about totally being open and expressing the uniqueness that is you, right? You may want to hide your light, and to do otherwise may cause anxiety. And then that anxiety is like, no, I can't move fast, or, my life is too complicated. I can't take that next step towards mission right now. I can't connect with my higher self right now because I got all these complications. No, that's just fear. And you've got to release the fear and have trust and faith right now. The message from the Ascended Masters on what the Divine Feminine should heal is, once again, mother, wife, sister, daughter from Lady Nada. So there's some kind of female relationship in your life that needs healing. Or this card can represent just the divine feminine energy in general. So working towards embodying your divine feminine is the way for you to heal right now, and that's going to bring you into this state of trust and faith. But yeah, for a lot of you, your mother is going to be affecting your understanding or your ability to just step back, let go of control, and let things unfold. This mother card can also be inner child work too. So the karma for the divine masculine, we have Celtic, phobia, and monk. Monk or nun. Okay, so for the divine masculine, I feel like there's some religious karma at play. This card, Celtic, to me, because we have this Celtic cross and it has religious iconography on it, to me that always represents some kind of religious connection, religious issue. And I'm feeling like a lot of it has to do with belief systems around right or wrong, certain things that they've been raised to believe, and it's creating fear. And it's going to relate back to this, being open, being vulnerable, sexual expression. Okay, how is it being hindered by these issues. Even if your twin is not religious in this lifetime, there may be religious karma from past lives. And I would say in 99% of cases, there's going to be. May not be conscious. It may not be really playing out in a way that you can see, but it's there. It's like what I'm getting is fear of being wrong, fear of taking the wrong step, fear of not doing the right thing. And for a lot of twins, as we awaken, we have to undergo a whole new belief system about what is right and what is wrong. The divine masculine's blind spot is female significator. So in most cases, this female significator is going to represent the divine feminine, and how the divine feminine, I want to say that you're really a blind spot, but there's this strong connection right now, this strong pull, but there's some kind of fear that's coming up. I want to use this card. For others, it could be, another woman in their life. It could be their soulmate. It could be mother, some kind of karmic person. Trying to use the word soulmate rather than karmic partner. The Ascended Master card for the Divine Masculine is energy healing. Okay, and there is an eclipse on this card. So the Divine Masculine is undergoing a lot of healing right now. And that healing is to put them in their power. They need to embody more of their magician energy that relates back to Merlin. And, this is like the high priest energy, being powerful, being the creator of your reality. And obviously, to do that, letting go of some religious karma that may be creating fear. We could even see, some mirroring that's going on here. Because sometimes when I pull this card, it's actually what they're trying to give me is the picture, right? And the picture is praying hands. And it's like the Divine Masculine is praying for some kind of resolution here. Because they've been struggling with something. For a lot of Divine Masculines, they're still in their karmic partnerships. They're still in their soulmate relationships. And they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do with the situation. And they're praying. They're praying for guidance and they're praying for strength. Just like the Divine Feminine needs to have faith. I'm going to say here too, right? Because some of that religious trauma is going to relate to the soulmate and wanting to do the right thing. And like I said, maybe coming into an understanding of a new belief system of what the right thing is. Sometimes if you marry the wrong person, staying with them and sacrificing yourself is not necessarily the right thing to do. In fact, before I sat down to do this reading, I was doing some training. I'm taking my QHHT level 2s, and I was listening to Dolores Cannon do an interview with someone, a client, and the client was saying how she stayed with her ex-husband for 30-some years. They were both very unhappy, but they did it for the kids, and how once she divorced, she realized, when her kids were adults, they started playing out the same pattern. They started treating her bad, just like her abusive ex-husband did, and they started to have the same relationship patterns as their parents, which is what happens, right? Like one of her children was divorced twice. So yeah, sometimes we think that we need to do the right thing and we need to stay in certain situations. And all we're doing is just repeating a karmic pattern, and we're not growing. We're holding ourselves back from growth. It's a very triggering thing for people to hear and to understand, but you know, that is the truth of it. So let's get some messages from the Divine Feminine to the Divine Masculine. I feel like I don't deserve your love. I'm worried you'll leave me when you see who I really am. And in fact, feeling like you've already been left and feeling like I'm not deserving because look, you've left me. So I'm feeling rejected. I'm feeling not good enough. And, you know, this is one of the reasons why, like I said, the Divine Feminine can put the brakes on. And, you know, when someone rejects you, what does that do? That closes down your throat chakra. It closes down your heart. Makes it that much harder the next time around to say what you want to say to them. And yet we have to keep breaking through these barriers. I've watched you change and grow so much. I'm trying to release attachment to identity so I can change too. Well, what I'm feeling about this card, really, the message from the Divine Feminine here is that the Divine Feminine is releasing attachment to identity. It's not so much that Divine Feminine is watching the Divine Masculine grow, although in some cases that's true, but it's more about I'm releasing attachment to my ego so that I can change and I can embody more of my higher self. I long for your kisses and your touch. Separated or together, we're always working in tandem with each other. So that's the Divine Feminine saying, I'm going to work through this separation because I know that no matter what, we are in this together and we're working together, even if it feels like we're doing it separately. What does the Divine Masculine want to say to the Divine Feminine? You show up in my dreams. It helps me process buried memories. So yeah, I feel like this card comes up a lot as messages from the Divine Masculine. So they really can't kind of block your energy because it will come up subconsciously. I'm getting like the connection here, you know, and that feeling of like, I don't know what to do. And so I'm just going to try and block you out, but you can't do that. And this card is definitely saying that there's a pull there on the Divine Masculine's end. Well, I mean, we talked about how that was a mirror. My ego is fragile to criticism and rejection. I've created walls to protect myself. That's that fear of vulnerability. That's you know, that takes a while to heal. We've got to be patient with that. I've been giving my power away to people in my life. I'm learning to set boundaries. So, yeah, all right, guys, so in typical Mercury retrograde fashion, when I started editing the video this morning, I realized that the whole ending section of the video was not recorded. So that is why you don't see the rest of the cards. I had already put the cards away. Luckily, I remembered these cards that I had pulled, and I remembered the Journey of Love card, but the Intuit Oracle messages for the future, I had to pull new ones. But maybe they're better messages. There's always some reason behind everything. So let's try and redo this once again. So there was still one message from the Divine Masculine that hadn't been read. So I want to keep it equal. So we have a new message here, which is I'm trying to understand how my thoughts create my reality. I know I need to stay positive. Are you? This has been coming up a lot from a message from the Divine Masculine. So this is telling us that the things that the Divine Masculine are going through are relating to how their thoughts create their reality. And that can be a really difficult concept to grasp. But yeah, we're always attracting everything that's coming into our reality. So it's definitely a positive message that the Divine Masculine is seeing that, and that they're trying to be more positive. Because if you remember, the struggle for the Twin Flame Collective was that card about judgments and the Divine Masculine, holding his head in his hands and feeling confusion and not having clarity and feeling resistance. So this card, I feel the masculine is saying that they're working through some of those judgments. So what's coming up in the future? I've got 3 Arthur Rackham Oracle cards and 3 Intuit Twin Flame Oracle cards. So let's do the Arthur Rackham cards first. And the first message about the future is called Guile. False promises. So if you recall, or maybe I should say if I can recall, we had some karma cards come up related to past relationships. Okay, and I feel like this card is in reference to that. Because the guile, false promises, I think a lot of people are going to be healing issues of the past with other people. And how many times do we feel like, oh yeah, this person said this and that, this person said they loved me, this person said they were never going to leave me, but that was all a lie, that was just a false promise. And so this person, this whole twin flame thing, that's probably a lie too. And that's all part of healing that separation, abandonment wound that's being triggered right now. If you can see on the card, we have this donkey, and they're making him spit out, I think that's coins. So like this person has guiled them out of some money and he's spitting it up. What I'm taking that to mean is like there's a release. It's almost like, energetically, we're letting go. We're letting go of these old ideas. Because remember, like we just had that card from the masculine, right? Our thoughts create our reality. So if we're walking around thinking that everyone's lying to us, no one's ever has any good intentions to us, then we're going to create that. It's also part of letting go of expectations too, because when we feel that there's promises, and often in twin flame dynamic, there's kind of like the idea of unspoken promises. Well, the person did this or they said that, and then you build up an expectation around it. And you may not always see it in your mind the way the person intended it, and then it gets misread. So then we have this card, reserved, complete unto oneself. So we've been talking about finding that inner balance, having that union within, getting stronger and stronger, and with that, the sense of wholeness, the sense of not needing the other person to be there, but feeling capable on our own. There's this man kissing her hand, and the woman is, if you can see that, she's kind of just like, yeah, whatever, I'm not that impressed. I pick up a lot of Nine of Pentacles energy with this. It's like letting go of the codependence, and with that there's a lot of freedom. They're also telling me, like, in a bigger sense, this isn't just with your twin, but it's in that authenticity. Remember the card that we pulled, the courageous peony, and being your authentic self. Okay, again, like in any kind of relationship or interaction with another, when you complete within yourself, then that allows you to be yourself 100%. Awakening. You have but slumbered here while these visions did appear. Well, I think this one is pretty self-explanatory, right? There's another level of awakening happening. We're all being affected. The entire collective is being affected. But for twins that have already started the awakening process, there's this call to help people, to help those that are awakening. But yeah, we're all leveling up. And you may find, as you work through the next couple of weeks, that you're being hit with some illusions, right? You have but slumbered here while these visions did appear. So it's like what you thought you were seeing was a bit of an illusion. And maybe you're awakening to some new truth that's been, playing out within the astrological energies. But these people on the card are connected too. Like these two, I'm not sure what myth this is. I have to find out what stories these cards are illustrations for. But these two people are holding hands. She's got his hand on his chest, and they're in some kind of deep conversation. So this can also have to do with like awakening to the connection on a deeper level too. And communication is shifting all the time. And even if you're one of those twins that, maybe you're falling on hard times as far as communication lately, it doesn't mean that things can't shift tomorrow. So from the Intuit Twin Flame Oracle, about the future, the first card I have is I'm walking home to you. I'm not sure where I am on the path, but I'm walking it. And the big thing that I'm getting here is just we're all following our path. When, in a broad sense, this is about walking home to God, walking home to who you are, following your true authentic self. This man, if you can see it here, he has a guitar on his back, and that's, to me, is about creative expression and authenticity. You're not fully tapped into your creative expression unless you're fully tapped into your authentic self. So yeah, we're all on the path. And we have to remember that as twin flames, we're on the path back to each other too. And they're really one and the same. The path to our purpose and the path to our twin, one and the same. The universe brought us together for a reason, and discovering what these reasons are. Awakening. New discoveries about this connection, new understandings about this connection. Universe didn't bring you together with your twin or with your person just so that you could be punished, so you could be in pain. There's higher level reasons, and there's going to be some clarity coming around what those reasons are in your case. A lot of you are going to be tapping into new levels of your power. There's a lot of like solar plexus healing going on. New levels of confidence happening. And so that could be some of the reasons that you're discovering. And the last card is, I wanted to send you a message today, but I was afraid to. I don't know if you want to hear from me or if I can say the right things to you. So this card brings this reading full circle from the first card we had, which was the overall energy of twins. I can't bring you into my life right now. It's too complicated, but I do want to talk to you. And remember, I said that there's a little bit of both the masculine and feminine that is stuck or on hold or resisting. And this card brings us back to that. I want to talk to you, but I don't know. Do you want to hear from me? Can I, say the right things? Can I be my authentic self? Can I be in my truth? Will you accept me? Will you reject me? These are the things that are coming up to help us heal the communication divide. It's getting rid of that resistance. It's getting rid of the fear of taking a risk and saying, nope, things are just a little bit too complicated right now. I better put that off to another day. How many of you have said, should I reach out to my twin today? Well, my energy's a bit off today. Well, maybe it's just not the right timing. No, I don't feel like getting triggered today, and I might get triggered, so I think I'll just, leave it today. Yeah, those are all like little ways resistance and fear of expression show up in our life. So this is something we're tackling very soon, after the summer solstice. And hopefully, open up communication. Our last card is the Journey of Love card. And it is the Shifting Universe card, number 7. Love the colors on this card, the blue and the gold. You are blessed with an opportunity to change gears, to change your life, to jump on the fast train. You are invited to fling yourself off the repetitive treadmill way of life and into a dance through nature. To be utterly confused and delighted. To accept the way of divine trust, even with its chaos, with the instability that precedes all genuine creativity. So here it is, your get out of jail free card. Your opportunity to make a mess and find out what you didn't know you were looking for. You're being nudged. If you wish, let yourself go down that strange path opening up before you without knowing what it is, even as you take your next step. Your universe is shifting, and stranger, more beautiful worlds beckon. Why not go where you haven't been before? You'll find yourself there and realize you are more than what you once thought that you were. This oracle has a message for you. If you're thinking about changing locations, jobs, houses, or attitudes, trying something new, especially if it's unusual for you, then the universe is supporting you. Now is the time to accept what you didn't expect. And the poem is called The Dream. The taste and touch of you within, thoughts linger on a sweet caress. You come to me, no sound distracts the night's embrace of innocence. The artist's brush across my lips, the palette rich in colors deep, to flow with feelings now renewed and blend as one in breath and hue. Entwined our bodies bathe in love and weep with longing's slow release, emotion, song, and soft refrain, awaken dreams that never cease. So a lot of different messages here, you know, taking a risk. Really the message here is that these new things are opening up, new channels are opening up, things are in transition, and very soon it's going to be like boom, 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 and a lot of changes are going to just fall into place, and your job is to be ready. Your job is to let go and be ready to jump and take a risk. The universe is supporting you. Now is the time to accept what you did not expect. Anything can happen. Don't limit yourself right now. It's kind of like get out of your mind, get out of your ideas and expectations, and let these highest opportunity come to you. We actually had this card recently. It may have even been in the last reading. The last Twin Flame Collective reading I did. I think it's been a while, at least a month, since I did a collective reading. But I remember people commenting on some of the words here. So interesting. We're getting clarification or being shown that this energy is still at play. This shifting universe. So I will list the cards below if you're interested in any of the decks. This is my deck, the Intuit Twin Flame Oracle, Messages from the Beloved. This has been printed and is being processed as we speak. So you can pre-order it from the link I'll post below, and hopefully it won't be that much longer before they come in. If you want a personal reading with me, my website is twinstrology.com. I'm sending you all so much love, and I will speak to you soon. Namaste.